Okay, it's February the 1st, 2026. It's Sunday, and I'm about to start making these videos of Alcoholics Anonymous. Uh, this double A program, right, throughout my life, I've seen it everywhere. I guess at the age of 15 was the first time that I encountered, the group. I had been in like other, secondary programs, but um, double A was my first encounter was when I was 15. I was in this rehab. It was called Sandstone, and that's when I first came across it. They started talking about double A and how there's these 12 steps, and everybody that has run into it knows what I'm talking about. And to all those, they probably have an idea, right? Because, like I said, my first encounter was at the age of 15. I was very young. And, the steps have always been there, like in my face, everywhere I go. There's always, these 12 steps, right? And when I say everywhere, I'm talking about the different groups that I've been in. I've been in all types of groups. I've been in like groups that have like first of all the churches, right? And although they don't say that they have this 12 step program, they function as if they do, like it's just there, right? And so there are churches, right, that are like rehabs, homeless shelters here in Mexico. Because here in Mexico, like you're to say it's a rehab, but it's not a rehab, it's a homeless shelter. It's a homeless shelter, and that's what they have. And so these groups that have the logo double A on them, they're numerous. There's some of them they have closed doors. Some of them tell you you can come in here, but you have to pay. You have to pay. Somebody has to pay, and you have to stay here 6 months, or and you can't go out. They control everything that you do, and so um, it's basically like a rehab, but with like a prison/prison because you can't get out, you know. And when you're living in the on the street, it's a prison. It's not a rehab. It's like you're gonna go in jail, and that's gonna be your jail for a while. And it's not a big jail. It's a small jail. It's a small prison, small area. And at the end, you would think that you would get something out of it when you don't. You don't get nothing out of it. And so throughout life, I've been, in numerous of these groups, right? Some of them have like a six-pointed star, which to me is kind of like gothic or something. I don't know, like how is it that here in Mexico, these so-called rehabs have this six-pointed star, and I guess you know I don't know. To me, in the States, to a person, to me, I think that that's gothic. I think that that's gothic, and I think that it shouldn't have nothing to do with church. That if they say that they believe in Christ, that's because that's a cover up, is what I would say, to draw people near to them. Because if they were to say what they are, then nobody would go, and they would be highlighted, so to blend in, so to speak, and well, I don't know. So like I'm saying, so I've been in numerous of these groups, double A, right? And they're all different, right? They all get handled in a different manner, and so there's these small groups where there's like one or two of them in a city. Like if you were to go to them, they'll say we're barely beginning, when you could tell, that their building has barely, is barely in process of beginning or has barely been made, etc., etc. And some of them look kind of clean and neat, because I've been in a lot of them, and so. Uh, they say we're barely beginning. We have another location here in the city, and we have other locations throughout the country. They'll say they have like 20 or 15, 30, like that, right? And so you have a bigger and more famous thing. Like there's this one, Greece, but anonymous, which is famous, they have internet. Everybody, I guess that's the famous one that there is. When it comes to the logos, because then there's Alcance Victoria, but that's also a church, like Rehab. But I think they're basically like homeless, like it's on the street. They can't go to a homeless shelter because there isn't any. And if there is, like you can't stay there. Like you can't stay there like in the United States where you're able to stay like I don't know 3 4 months, 6 months. You're able to save some money, buy a car and save for rent. That's what I guess what that's what a homeless shelter is supposed to help you do, right? Like on your feet, Mexico shelter, for example, here in there's on the street allowed me to rehab the homeless shelter for 2 days. But after the 2 days, like I would have to leave. I would have like you have to leave, like that's it. And you can't go back for like another month or something. So but they were asking me for an ID and I was like, I don't have an ID, so I wasn't able to stay in that homeless shelter, which is here in Durango. And throughout the country, I mean, there's places like that. I've run into them, and they don't exist. Homeless shelters don't exist. You know, there's a couple of churches. There's this one Catholic church in Ensenada, and they were telling me if you get a job, we'll let you stay here for a couple of more weeks and see what happens. It was called I don't remember. I don't remember, but I do remember that they were like Catholics and that they were really very neat about how like the homeless shelter, like they're very like neat and clean about it. You know, I don't know how how all those people would be there at one time. You would think, where do all these people come from? Because there was a lot of people when I was there, but uh, they had dessert and they had everything. Although what I did not like was that they would shred meat. They would shred meat and they would throw it in, like if you're having potato soup with whatever vegetables, there was like pieces of what looked to be raw meat, in the soup, and that's the only thing that I didn't like. And what do you call it? But other than that, I mean, the rehab, it was almost, it was like I couldn't believe it that that was a rehab. It looked like like a rehab. I'd never seen a rehab in Mexico, and I already had been there. I already had been in Mexico for a while, so I was surprised to see that homeless shelter, the homeless shelter in Ensenada, this Catholic homeless shelter, because it wasn't a rehab. It was basically just to receive people off the street like homeless, and they would give you meals, 3 meals, and they would like treat you very good, and they were telling me like you find a job, but I didn't find a job though. But if they told me if you find a job, you're allowed to stay like another like 3 weeks, and you could even end up staying here. And I was like, what? There was this guy, he was telling me that he was there. He's like, yeah, but you have to try real hard. And I was like, okay. And so I went and I looked for a job, but I didn't find any. So I didn't know. So I had to leave after like 2 days. You have to leave, and so I had to leave, and then I ended up just going to the south, to Los Cabos. But anyways, on this rehab,